Two people can earn the same income for years and still end up in completely different financial realities. At the start, everything looks the same, routine work and paycheck, but over time, their financial paths slowly begin to separate without any clear moment of change. One builds quiet control over money, while the other gradually loses control without realizing it. This difference is not created by one major action, but by small financial habits repeated so often that they feel normal. The real issue is that these patterns never feel harmful while they are happening. They only become visible when the gap has already formed. If you find this perspective valuable, subscribe to avoid repeating the same financial mistakes that keep most people stuck in the same cycle. Money doesn't just change numbers in a bank account, it slowly changes the direction of a life. Most people focus only on earning and spending without noticing the pattern forming in between. Over time, that pattern decides whether financial pressure stays constant or slowly starts to reduce. In many cases, income is not the real problem. It is how quickly it gets absorbed by lifestyle responsibilities and emotional spending. In contrast, financially stable individuals treat income differently. They first protect a portion of it, allocate it with purpose, and allow it to build long-term stability over time. One of the biggest financial mistakes never feels like a mistake at the beginning. It feels like success, improvement, and a well-earned reward for hard work. When income increases, most people naturally shift their lifestyle without questioning what it is doing to their future. A slightly better car, a more expensive home, and new financial commitments start filling the space where extra money used to exist. Over time, the income that was supposed to create freedom quietly gets replaced by new pressure that feels normal because it grows slowly. What makes this even more dangerous is that nothing feels wrong while it is happening, which is why the cycle continues for years without interruption. And by the time it becomes visible, the financial space that could have created freedom is already gone. There is a financial habit that quietly decides who stays in control of money and who keeps struggling with it. Most people only think about money after it arrives, and in that moment, emotions take over their decisions. They spend without direction, simply reacting to what feels urgent or desirable. Over time, this creates instability because nothing is planned in advance, and every decision becomes emotional. In contrast, financial planners approach money differently. They already assign a purpose to their income before it even arrives, which removes emotional pressure from the decision-making process. Instead of reacting, they follow a simple structure that protects stability first and allows flexibility later. This small shift between reacting and planning slowly creates completely different financial outcomes, even when the income is similar. Few people realize this. Two completely different futures exist inside the same person at the same time. One future is built on patience. It grows slowly, quietly in the background. The other future is built on instant rewards. It asks for almost nothing. It feels easy. But here is the dangerous part. Neither future announces itself when it appears. The real battle happens in ordinary moments. Moments that look small. Moments that feel unimportant. Yet those small moments decide everything. Temporary satisfaction can quietly stand between a person and the future they want. This is why some people feel trapped despite having opportunities that once looked promising. The most unsettling truth is that small moments decide far more than big intentions ever do. The weaker side is only understood after the damage is already done. Most people believe saving money is the same as building wealth, but this belief quietly becomes the reason their money never grows. What feels safe today can slowly turn into a financial limitation tomorrow without any obvious warning. The danger is not losing money, but keeping it in a way that stops it from growing while life becomes more expensive in the background. Saving protects money, but protection alone does not create expansion. Over time, stored money starts losing its strength as inflation and rising costs reduce its real value. This creates a silent gap between financial security and actual financial freedom that most people only notice when it is too late. Investing changes this entire direction. Instead of staying still, money begins to move, grow, and multiply with time. The real difference is not how much is earned, but how money behaves after it is earned. Two people can save the same amount, but their futures can still be completely different. One lets money grow. The other keeps it inactive. Some of the biggest financial losses never come from taking risk, but from avoiding it completely. What feels safe in the moment often becomes the reason life stops moving forward. The fear of losing something small quietly replaces the chance of gaining something much bigger, and this shift happens so slowly that it goes unnoticed. Calculated risk works in a different way. It is not about chasing uncertainty blindly. It is about understanding it before taking action. Instead of letting fear make decisions, awareness takes control. This small difference separates those who remain stuck in the same place for years from those who gradually move into better financial positions over time. Money habits are not formed in the moment of earning or spending. They are shaped silently through how time is used every single day. Most people fail to realize this connection until their financial situation is already fixed. When time is used with purpose, it forces discipline, sharp focus, and actions that gradually build financial direction. Small efforts start compounding, and over time, they turn into visible financial progress without sudden change. But when time is wasted or used without structure, money habits weaken slowly. Life feels active, but nothing actually builds. The effort stays, but results never align with it. Ultimately, financial reality is not the result of luck. It is the result of how time was invested every single day. Relying on a single source of income feels normal, but this normality is exactly what keeps most people financially exposed without realizing it. One unexpected interruption is enough to break the entire flow, yet the mind ignores this possibility because the income arrives regularly. The real illusion is not stability itself, but the belief that stability cannot disappear. Multiple income streams completely change this reality. Instead of depending on one direction, money begins to come from different sources, reducing the impact of any single failure. This is not about working endlessly, but about building separate paths where income continues even when one path slows down. Over time, this shifts a person from dependency into flexibility, where financial pressure no longer sits on one point. Decision-making loses its power when hesitation takes over the moment. In critical financial pressure, people don't fail because they lack understanding. They fail because response comes too late. The mind keeps waiting for complete clarity, but real conditions never pause for certainty. Uncertainty doesn't stay still. It keeps shifting while thinking is still trying to process it. What could have been controlled early turns heavier with time, not because it became harder, but because action got delayed. Debt is not what most people think it is. The same thing can silently destroy one financial direction while building another. The real difference is never in borrowing, but in how that borrowing changes the direction of life over time. Some forms of debt quietly increase pressure, slowly reducing freedom without immediate warning. Others can be used in a way that supports growth, but only when understood with clarity and timing. Motivation starts financial actions, but it rarely maintains them. It creates temporary energy that fades when conditions become uncomfortable or when results take time. That's why many financial plans begin with intensity but fail before completion. Discipline works differently. It is not driven by mood or emotional energy. It continues even when progress feels slow, interest fades, or results are not visible. This consistency is what keeps financial direction stable when everything else feels uncertain. Over time, discipline builds what motivation cannot sustain. Wealth is not created through sudden effort. It is built through repeated actions that continue long after emotional energy disappears. Subscribe to Billionaire Vault X and learn the money habits that build lasting wealth.